Things are going to start happening to me now.
You've done all the reading. You're a scholar. You're a professor. You've done all the reading. You've done the intellectual heavy lifting.
More or less, eat shit and die.
You wouldn't know a fact if it begged you all night long.
Want to give the wrong impression because I am very high.
Ran up behind him with a hatchet. Smash, smash, smash.
Yeah. Care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
And welcome everybody to the Libertarian Podcast Review. This is your not so humble host, Tyler Janke. We got a guest tonight. We're going to introduce him in just a second. So it's our brother Bear. I think that's what he goes by. Adam Nutter. Let's talk about Adam Nutter. Adam Nutter, host of Cult of Us, host of 5 Till Midnight, former host of the Porcupine podcast on Drop Tent Media Network, the author of several books, Nutter Butter, compilation of books about the Barbary Pirates, and he's the host of Music and More with Adam Nutter. Is that true? I don't think so. Adam Nutter, welcome. How you doing, buddy?
Dude, that guy has to hate me, the other Adam Nutter, because I've talked to him before, dude. I've talked about this before on Cult of Us, but he's like an English guitarist, from England, and I think he's from I don't know where he's fucking from, but he's like a nice dude. He's like a music guy, and I get his DMs, but he gets my DMs mistakenly. So I'll get hey man, loved you in Leeds, you were great. And I would just respond thanks, man. I really work hard at my craft.
Right.
And he gets fuck you, Nazi.
Yeah, exactly. As it should be. So what's interesting is you know what I need to introduce Adam's pod. So I went on there, I checked out your, with all the different podcasts you're on, I got those right. And then I'm like, let's make up some title of books. And I went Adam Nutter books, and this Adam Nutter podcast came up, and I actually started to listen to it. And I was like, okay, that's hilarious. So, and then I remembered you had said something. So yeah, have you written any kids books?
No, I'm not allowed to, I think, by law.
Megan's Law or something like that, right?
Yeah, one of those laws. Laws.
All right. Before we get into it, sorry to do this to you, but Fox and Sons Coffee. Okay, I love Steve Fox. He's out right now. He just sent me a DM yesterday. He said, hey, I'm in California. Is Santa Barbara near you? And I'm like, no, but enjoy. But if you go to foxandsons.com, put in the code review, you get 15% off, $25 or more coffee. I drink this stuff nonstop all day long, literally. And you should too. So go there and check it out. Adam, I don't know if you drink coffee or not, but there you go. If you do,
you like coffee, just slow it down. Make you poop too much.
Okay, so before we get into some of this, I do want to talk to you, because we haven't done this officially. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Porcupine podcast. I've been on there. Always loved going on your show. It was a lot of fun. You have these other podcasts you're doing now, and I get that sometimes it's easier to do group podcasts. That's why I have Andy.
Yeah.
Since he got a job and a girlfriend, he's just like MIA. But so
that girlfriend's a beard. He's gay. Andy's gay, and he can't defend himself because he ain't here. So
exactly. So what's the status of this podcast? It's still in my feed. Is it coming back? Is it not? Is it just kind of why did it go away? People are wondering. The chat actually asked with that too.
I was just on Rap, and I was on the fucking Rap that's paywalled, so it wasn't out in public. It was the payroll Rap I did. But Gomez was like, what, you stopped doing Porcupine? I was like, I can't keep talking about politics solely about myself. It's a lot and it's depressing, and it's the same. It became the same thing. It's hey, people are fucking kids and no one cares. It's every episode, and it's hard to talk about other stuff when that's always a thing, or there's always fucked up shit, and it's hard to be you Speaker of the House, right? Who gives a fuck? It just got hard to keep talking about. And then I found myself I was having fun with it. I just wanted to have I like when I fuck around with you guys, and in like a group setting, and like that's more fun. I like to bounce off other people. I like to just cut in with jokes. Like, yeah, like I like to talk serious sometimes too, but like I don't know, dude. Like doing the whole just solo thing is like I just kind of fell out for me, honestly.
Totally understand. So by the way, I just let me get this here. I'm gonna pull this up because you made me think of something. Okay, let me see if I can do this here. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for this one. No, that's not the one I wanted either. Stop screen. Sorry to talk over this while we're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up. You just made me think of that one. Where is it at? Sorry about this.
You're good.
There we go. Let's show. Okay, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna bring it over here. So this is. Make sure you can hear this. I hope you can. This is a Jeopardy thing.
Boys and 12 in girls. Tom, what is the age of consent? No. It's presumed to be 14 in boys and 12 in girls. Tom, what is the age of consent?
When you said, I was like, is that guy running for the Libertarian Party president?
Dude, that guy might as well have been like, yo, I fuck kids.
I think it's puberty. That's got to be the answer, right? Or the question?
For sure. It has to be. I hope. Or Jeopardy got ballsy real quick.
Right. Okay. So I totally get what you're talking about. You wanted to. It's tough doing a solo show because you always have to prepare. It's hard to just come on there and talk about nothing. Although some of the big shows that I watch, like Ricada and some of those, I swear they don't do. They're just kind of shit. It's a conversation with their chat group, and but that's obviously not what you were doing because you didn't have a chat.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like it just got to the point of like just so fucking draining to be like, all right, man, here's another political thing. It's like we know, and like we all agree, you know. Yeah. So it's like it's also just becomes an echo chamber that we bitch about to fucking libs or whatever. But like, you guys are an echo chamber. Like, yeah, well, we are too. Like, you know. So it's like it just got repetitive and just not fun. And like Cult of Us is fun. Like I just like doing that. Especially I like doing Cult of Us because like there's no podcast. Like there's no political stuff. It's just like dicking around, like just comedy stuff. And then like 5 till Midnight is political stuff, but it's like with 5 of us. And it's like, again, I like to bounce off. It's joking around. Like it's, it's more loose. We're not like holding like this strict, like, talking points on politics. Like, oh, that was a crazy thing. Let's talk about that. Like,
So who's on that show with you?
Sam Urban, Kyle Matovic, and Luke and Typo from Biting the Bullet.
Okay, gotcha. Are they still, Luke and Typo still doing that? So is this just 4 of you, but you're doing 5 till midnight? Is there a math problem?
No, it's 5. I'm the 5th
you.
one.
You and Sam. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. I was just counting the people you said. I got a little. I went a little for a drink before we. Okay, anyway, we didn't talk about that. Okay, so how is that show going? I have not checked it out yet. Sorry.
So we actually haven't officially done like episode 1 yet, even though we did like 4 or 5 episodes. Like they're like all like 0.1, like because we're waiting until we haven't even like a fucking logo or anything yet. But it's fun. Like we're catching our groove. Like it's like 5 dudes talking on a podcast is hard, and and especially for comedic timing, either the joke's there and you gotta take it or it's not, and if it gets talked over, that's it. Like joke's gone. Like you can't come back later and be like, remember the thing from earlier that was funny? Okay, here's my joke about it now. It's like, who cares? It's not funny anymore.
And by the way, like when I bring a bunch of people on, we do like the Kill Pod stuff. I feel like I'm in charge, and that's almost not fun at times because you gotta control it. Maybe it's different when you have 5 people kind of all on the same show and you just like go, or is someone in charge of this show?
Not really. We just kind of all unify and call Sam gay.
Okay.
For like the first 10 minutes, and that's like it's like almost like the huddle of the team. It's like, I gotta huddle up. Let's call Sam gay. We'll get that out of the way, and then we'll go on about our day.
Solid.
But yeah, no leader.
I'm done with that. So in any chance of good luck. I kind of had the same thing. My show's not been on as long. I started doing a bunch of solo stuff. I'm like, hey, let's bring Andy in. It's helpful. We do a little more just shooting the shit. I still do solo stuff because he doesn't show up, or I bring in a guest. But as far as the pushback or different people, I brought peed on the other day, and he, you know, went hard on libertarians as he's wont to do. And I disagree with him on some stuff, and I just kind of let him go because I thought, and you know, the chat kind of is upset, and there's some other things, and but I think that's good. And I have this one friend, it's been a childhood friend of mine on my cycling podcast. He's come on many times. He's a very smart lefty.
Yay,
and I want to bring him on and have discussions because he's stupid on some things, and then other things he's like got it, and it baffles me. So anyway, those are the kind of things I would love to do.
Yeah, it's again, it became the echo chamber got boring and shit, and I again the 5 midnight thing. Even though it is an echo chamber, like we're just joking around more, so it's a lot more fun. So I don't mind doing it as much with the political stuff.
So Drop Tent Media, I looked on there. There's like a group of podcasts. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, we have a bunch of podcasts on the network. Yeah, I just stopped doing the porcupine. I mean, technically it's on. I guess it's on hiatus, but it's not like I didn't delete the feed or anything like that.
Is this are you part of Drop Tent, or is this something?
Co-own it.
Oh, okay.
It's so Neil Wood, who I do Cult of Us with. We co-own it together.
Who does the Drop Tent Media comment on on the thing? Is that your wife's voice, his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend?
That's a brand new voice. Hey, buddy, if you think
it was an older one,
that's Evan. That's a guy.
No, it was a female's voice. I thought it said Drop Tent Media, and it's like, God,
that's
like
I mean the new one's a female. The old ones used to be Evan, or maybe the original one. What? I don't, dude. You know what? Hey, I don't know. If you were to look at me right now and be like, "Hey, man, who really runs your company? Do you think it's me, or do you think it's Neil? Who do you think's doing all the work?"
Let me ask you this: is your company making money?
Yeah, we do all right.
Okay, well then someone's okay. Then I'm glad someone's running it. Okay, good stuff.
We don't do bad.
Good stuff.
We also do like the comedy shows too. Okay. Like I remember it's not just the podcast stuff. Like we have the podcast stuff, but we also run shows all over like Jersey and New York and Pennsylvania and stuff.
Yeah, Adam, it's a woman. I mean,
do
I need to bring it up?
The new one. No, the new one is.
No, I don't know. I just matter of fact.
Yeah, it's. Production.
Here, let me do this.
Hold up. The new one's a chick, but I don't know where Neil got her from.
Let's see if I can bring it up. Log in my thing. Okay.
The old one used to be Evan, one of our producers. The old one was Evan. Evan is a dude. The old one is a fucking dude. I'm so not involved in my own company. This is pathetic. This is making me look terrible. I was like, fuck. Hey guys, just trust that Neil knows what he's talking about. You know, and Neil is really good.
Okay, tell you what,
what he does.
I tell you what, here we go. I'm going to share the screen here. I'm going to bring up one of your probably your best episode to go out on. Tyler Janke and Reed Coverdale.
All right now, because the thing I care about got touched. Oh, I know you're talking about. Got touched. I know you're talking about. You can stop it. I know you're talking about. That wasn't the Drop Tent thing. That was just the porcupine one.
Hang on.
Welcome to a Drop Tent Media
Evan.
production.
Yeah. Okay. My bad.
This you're talking about. The intro. Yeah, that was years ago. We got someone off Fiverr to do punchline. You know.
Okay. We'll stop watching.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong. Yeah. Okay. I guess.
Yeah. Fuck you. I know my shit.
Okay. My bad on that. Let's anything else that's going on. You doing any comedy stuff? Anything you want to talk about while I grab this first clip and then we'll get it right into it.
Yeah, I'll fucking plug. First of all, everybody go download Cult of Us right now. Go subscribe on the YouTube and 5 till midnight YouTube. 5 till midnight YouTube, Cult of Us YouTube. November 10th, I'll be Philly, Myers Brewing, 2 shows, 7:30. I keep referencing. So sorry. 7:30, 9 o'clock. 2 shows. Myers Brewing in Philly, and then November 11th up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Just go to my social media for tickets at Adam Nutter on Twitter and Instagram and all that shit. Boom.
Yeah. So go check out Adam, and if you're anywhere near him when he's doing comedy, go see it, and then come back and report. I don't know how you do.
Report. Also, I'm doing the Florida and Georgia LP conventions.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't the Tower Gang guys supposed to go there too?
Georgia. Yeah, they're doing the Georgia one
that's
with me.
They're so down on the barrel that they're getting you in them. Catch up with me. I did this Tom Woods series. Tom is supposed to come on my show. I've got a link to him. It's supposed to be there. I did this Leo Frank series. I would say go check it out. It was on Pete Kenyora's show. I'm repurposing it for mine. I'm going to put the last one out probably tomorrow for that. I was also on Unfit Statesman with Zach Brown. He just came out with his newish redone podcast. I was on the second episode. And then, of course, we've got our Kill Pod. We're going to be doing that. Zach's going to come on. And I hope maybe Adam will be a guest on there. P-Nord is bothering me to come on. So we will have our famous P-Nord. He's like one of the stables of the old Stern show, right? I don't know which one he would be. I don't know.
Stuttering John.
Stuttering, yeah, probably Stuttering John. I was thinking Beetlejuice, but that's probably too much for him. Go to my Substack, substack.com @TylerYanke, and that's where there's all my stuff. By the way, if you saw my Leo Frank thing, and you should go watch it, it's fantastic. All the links and all the research are up there. I've got a link to it all, and you too can be an expert. Okay, do you play hockey?
No, I never actually even skated once in my life.
Okay, but that's really difficult. But do you watch hockey? You know about it,
I love
right?
hockey. Big Ranger fan.
Okay. He says, this guy says, review who are these podcasts. That guy was just on.
Oh yeah.
With Tower Gang. We'll let them have that. That's not my thing. And he looks like he's making more of a show of reviewing podcasts than I am. I have a real job during the day. I have to. That's also part of the problem, right? Of doing, I don't know what. Oops, hey. You've got a podcast and maybe you want to take it off. You want to do all kinds of stuff, but you've got like duties to do. I mean, is this your main gig? I don't know what else you do besides comedy and podcasts.
No, this is it. This is all I got.
So you really failed me. Okay. Have you seen this clip at all of this hockey situation?
Oh, have I seen this murder? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this
murder.
Okay. So evidently, and they'll kind of show it here again. This guy just bleeding all over the place. He's an American. I think he was an American former NHL player. Look at the blood just oozing out. And they're gonna re-show it. You can see it real close there. Let's see. This guy right here that's going to hit and boom, takes his foot up and skates right into this guy's neck. What do you think about that? Is that murder?
Now he tried to straight murder him, saw a really funny tweet that said 1% of all black hockey players commit 100% of the murders.
I saw that too. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
No, but yeah, dude, that's straight he drop kicked him in the throat like fucking Shawn Michaels. Dude, he gave him a Sweet Chin Music. That was crazy. And like we watched that. I think we watched this on Cult of Us or something, or I forgot where. But we like viewed it like he doesn't clip that guy's skate in front of him. He doesn't touch him. Like that guy. The guy who died's teammate who's in front of him. Yeah. He didn't touch him at all. There was no like excuse of like, oh, maybe they got clipped and they got caught up. Yeah. And like he just straight was like, fuck you, like. It looked like to me I don't think he intended to, hey, I'm going to put my skate in your gullet, but it did look like it was one of those things. Played football, you've done that where you kind of do a leg whip, they're going past you and you're like, oh, I'm going to stop him, and it looks like that's what it was. Now evidently this guy's really dirty, so the guy died, and so this was in like Europe. I take it was European League. Yeah.
Do
you remember the goalie from the 80s who that happened to?
No.
He got slashed. That was like the first famous clip of this. Like back in the day, dude in the 80s gets slashed, some goalie, and same thing, blood everywhere. Luckily, though, I think the medic was like a retired Army combat medic. So he's like, I know what to do. And like he plugged his fucking hole and fucking like held the thing or whatever, and then got him off, and he lived. But like this guy like died, like he just walked off the ice, skated off the ice, and like just dropped dead from the blood loss.
You saw the blood. Look at the teams.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
It's she not. I don't even. What's
she not? Yeah, it's the anti-trans team of Europe.
Right. I don't even understand what's going on. So for me, it was pretty crazy. And there was maybe you mentioned his name. There was a guy that just decked someone with a their stick a few years ago in his face, and then
that was Todd Bertuzzi, I think.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah, and I think Todd
Bertuzzi is like the vocal point of like multiple dirty hits. Like they almost one time talked about him going like getting like charges brought against him, like real.
Well, I think they were at one. And by the way, this brought me to a whole other thing we'll talk about here. But let's go to the next. I have one more video. So this is hockey death, and then we're going to see if I can find this one. Okay, and then we're going to talk about maybe you've heard about field hockey.
Yeah, dude. Well, I saw this in the group chat. This is nuts.
So first of all, maybe I should. This is Libs of TikTok. We'll put this here. He said this happened at an all-girls high school hockey game in Swampscott, Massachusetts. First of all,
all girls.
right. A male who identifies as a female joined the team and hit a girl in the face, reportedly knocking her teeth out. You can hear her shrieking in pain. Okay, so obviously you're thinking a body check, something like the skates, like that. So let's watch this horrific action. Okay, so I had to watch this.
Yeah, what happened? I still don't see it.
Exactly. Now let's just go through here. Now I'm like, is this the dude, number 7?
I think that's the chick.
Right. And I'm like, why are they all running away? How come they're not helping? They're all screeching. Now they're going, and this is such girl stuff to do. Okay.
Yeah, it really is feminine energy.
All right. So I had to break this down a little bit, and we'll try to help the viewers here. And for those at home, it's field hockey, so it's really gay sport.
This
but
is so unrespectful.
Ginormous woman who doesn't have to do any cardio has the ball, and she sticks it over real feminine-like to someone about midfield, right into the middle.
Right, okay.
This is evidently the dude, and he goes to hit. Now, look. Right here, you can see hits it low. But this girl that he hits, she's not even in front of the goal. This shot is not even close to going in the net. And the girl's already falling down. So she's down low anyway. I don't know why she would have, even with a guy doing it. So my point is, okay, she got hit in the face. She was low.
The ball hit her in the face.
The ball hit her in the face.
Well, bro, wear a fucking mask. Like, why is women's field hockey not wear like lacrosse helmets?
Right, and I'm sorry, that wasn't like such a wow. That was a magic shot. I mean, this is like firepower like you would never believe. Grant Fuhr couldn't have stopped this type of thing. This is not what we're talking about. This is just an errant shot. By the way, it wasn't very good. So I don't care if it's a dude or not. And my point of this is, live the TikTok. Is this
better? I get what you're saying. There's like 1,000 better examples of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was even hard to figure out. And the real situation, we shouldn't really be having field hockey as a sport, right? It should just be on something like a Lifetime Network or something.
It exists. Hockey. Hockey already exists. It's dumb. Right. It's like fucking Canadian football. It's like football exists. Why the extra dumb end zone? It doesn't make fucking sense.
So what this brings me to is, did you watch the any of the debate with Austin Peterson and Clint, or Austin Peterson and Dave?
I just don't give a shit, right?
Okay,
it's like,
perfect.
Who cares?
You must be pro-Zionist. That's what I'm hearing. I don't really care. And by the way, I'm coming out and just saying, I honestly don't really give a shit either way. The problem I find is the hypocrisy, right? And that's what I'm kind of focusing on the right in a sense, because they're so, BLM. How dare you squelch our speech? If you don't put up a black box, you're a racist. And now they're out there saying outright, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And I'm like, you guys are just as bad. So I like to take them on just for that reason. And it makes me look like I'm pro-Palestine. And I'm like, well, no,
I know, really. Dude. I mean, I first of all, Austin Peterson went like crazy Zionist over the last like week or two with like he went nuts. I did see the clip on Jose's podcast with him quoting a Murray Rothbard tweet that was anti-Israel.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay. So that was funny because it was like, you fucking idiot.
Right.
You know, so that was funny. Also, like Austin. Okay.
No, I was just gonna say that one. We'll get to. I'm not gonna comment on that. Okay. Go ahead.
Also, Austin didn't put me on his like hottest libertarian thing, and I'm still mad about that. Like, I should be at least up there as a contender. I think I'm in good shape. I don't know.
Okay.
But you know, I just, it's like, here's the thing is like, I know Dave's take, I know Austin's take. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just know what they say. You know what they say on Twitter. You know Dave well enough. You know, I got it. I'm good. I don't need to sit through them being totally like, actually, you're fucking wrong about that. And I'm like, yeah, cool. It's like, I'll just go play Call of Duty. This came out. You know, so, like, it's
like that or not, I'm going to play some clips, but not yet. But Austin Peterson brings up a thing about murder. Okay, so which made me think of what we have here. The guy dies. Okay, in the hockey game. Now the other one lost her teeth. I don't think there's a death there. But you talked about charges. Do you think you can be charged with murder? And now, you know, what's the last Boy Scout or something like that? I think in the movie,
Dude, people don't know that enough. That movie, the opening of that movie, and I'm like, oh, give it a watch on YouTube. It's wild.
That's where he pulls out the gun and shoots him, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't. And so what happens in sports is there's a thing called assumption of the risk, which is you're playing sports. You assume there's implied and implied and non-implied risks that you're actually taking, which is I might get hit in the head by someone playing football, blah, blah. I'm going to get a stick in the head playing hockey. Is a skate to the throat something that you're impliedly consenting to as a risk for this sport? And I would say likely not.
Yeah, well, yes, and it's subjective.
Like that? Or
like that, no, because I could technically stomp down your neck with my skate and be like, "What? It's hockey," right? But the first clip I was telling you about where the goalie got slashed, that was legit accident. Like the guy just stumbled and he just got his fucking leg thrown up in the air. So like that, no, of course, like that guy shouldn't be charged. You could tell, by the way. Also, just hockey players are the toughest people alive because like the dude from the Bruins the other night got his teeth knocked down. He picked them up off the ice and skated off, and the dude from the Canadians, dude. He got a slap, like an 80-something, 90-mile-per-hour slap shot hit off his hand, breaks his wrist, holding his skate, still on the ice. Another slap shot breaks his skate. So now he's skating on one skate. A third slap shot rips him off the thigh.
This is the Homer Simpson thing. Did you ever see when he went back to college and he was a field goal kicker?
Yeah.
And his foot was hurt, or it was, I don't know if he was the kicker, but it was maybe the Russian guy. He kicks it and his foot comes off and the ball is going to be short and the foot actually kicks the ball over. That type of thing. Yeah. I'm not going to say cyclists are tough, but we are fucking tough too. I've broken my wrist, completed races. Guys, femurs are cracked, it happens with us as well. So
I feel like hockey is the toughest.
It is pretty tough. It is pretty tough. But let me tell you what, get in your underwear, drive your car about 30 miles an hour, just jump out and then go finish a bike ride afterwards and see how
for sure. That would definitely suck too. I also don't bicycle.
Good point. Okay. So there is something to be said here about this guy possibly getting charges. Now I've seen where, some people are like, oh, that's outright murder. Could be. I mean, it's going to be hard to prove that he intended to do that. I think he intended to kick him, and that's pretty bad in itself. Now
that could lead to other manslaughter and shit, probably.
Right. And we'll get to that with Austin Peterson and his bad legal takes. But John Ziegler, do you know who John Ziegler is? He's been on the show a few times. He's the news guy. Sounds super familiar. Right. Yeah. He tweeted about this hockey thing, and he's like, at what point, it's kind of silent. Do you start to say that maybe because the guy that did it was black is part of the reason this story isn't out there? What do you think of that? Anti-Semitism, racism, we do it all here on Friday nights.
It's cliche to be like, if that was a white hockey player to kick a black hockey player, it would probably be in the news, but it probably would be.
All right.
But anyone who dies on ice like that, that should be that's a crazy sports. You know what I'm saying? It's so rare. Yeah. That should be everywhere, regardless of race. That's insane.
Right.
Gross football injuries are all over the place. It's
Minder says he's John Ziegler's great. I love his work on Penn State Saga. He's been on this show twice, by the way, and we've talked about all kinds of.
I agree with Minder on the 1%. By the way, top 1%. It's for sure. Yeah. But have you seen basketball players and then hockey players? It's still a difference.
Complete difference. And soccer, as an example, you get a paper cut and they writhe around on the ground like they've been have epileptic, seizures. It's not the same. And sorry to keep going on my cycling stuff, but you don't get to sit on the bench. Basketball, you take a break, you do all these things. There's some sports you just don't get those opportunities, and you just got to suffer through. So with last cycling thing, and then we'll be done. Tour of Switzerland this year. This guy, he's a Swiss rider, getting ready for the Tour de France. He's coming down this really steep hill, and someone wrecks in front of him. He falls off the embankment, falls 90 feet down, dies. It was pretty horrific. So shit like that happens in sports. That is, I think, assumption of the risk in cycling, though. Okay. Anything else you want to say on death in sports?
No. When it happens, it's fucking. Well, and it happens like that, it's nuts.
All right. Okay. I'm just going to keep cycling through these. So I don't know. Do you know who Viva Frei is?
Also sounds familiar.
Okay, he's this Canadian.
Oh, right. I commented on this. Right. Okay.
Okay.
This guy. I didn't realize that was his name. Right. Yeah.
Viva Free, but I call him like Freibaby. He's Canadian. He's kind of in the libertarian sphere ish.
Yeah.
You know, he moved from Canada. He's an attorney. He's got a lot of good stuff on COVID. He's going out, but he seems way too like I've seen him on Dave Rubin before with Michael Malice, and his brain gets weird when you find him in contradictions. So he had started in the Palestine thing. He had Scott Horton on his show, and he was pushing back, but not, and he got really heated with it. It was actually a pretty good debate. But he tweeted this out. So he said, so it's a picture of Justin Trudeau, probably with his daughter, and she's got, like, I don't know, her head. It's one of these silly costumes where it looks like she's yes,
or whatever, yeah.
It's fucking Halloween. Mm-hmm. He said, when there are stories confirmed or not, of decapitated babies in Israel after a terrorist attack, maybe don't post a Halloween picture like this. You sick and sorry excuse for a human, Justin Trudeau. I repeatedly edited this to remove expletives. I don't know what that is. This is the dumbest, most wussified tweet I've ever seen from someone who's supposedly, right-wing type of tough boy. Absolutely ridiculous. It's fucking Halloween. It has nothing to. You think and Trudeau's the biggest pussy and all, and yet he makes himself look more manly because he could stand next to this decapitated kid here than Viva Frei. What do you think of that one?
I quote tweeted that. I was like, this is gay. Like you saying this is gay, and like that you making us defend this commie loser is annoying because like fucking Trudeau sucks, like so much. But it's like, dude, this is just as bad as like the progressive shit. It's the same shit. It's the same fucking
exactly
thing.
The same.
It's a horseshoe. Is it the horseshoe theory, right? Whatever the fuck it is, it's called, or it's like it's dumb. It's like, dude, you're just as bad now, and we're just supposed to be better. Or if you're or whatever, if you're not a progressive, you're supposed to be better than that. And like you're just doing the same old fucking lame ass fucking take. This guy sucks.
I don't know that my tweet is great or anything, but I put I had to say Justin is horrible because these people will come back and say that I'm a lefty. But I said, coming for Christmas, how dare you eat turkey? Because Turkey is near Israel and people died there. That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean,
it's so stupid.
It's so dumb and it's so lame. And, it makes you realize that when they're crying about, and by the way, now you see all this stuff on campus, Palestinian stuff, and you see the right complaining about it. I'm just like, why don't you shut up? You're just as bad. You would do. And by the way, you tell me this. We talk about your drop tent, your porcupine stuff. The post-libertarians, their whole thing is you put power when you have a chance. I don't care what it is. You put them down. So should they be upset with stuff like this? Because their stated goal is if they were in power, they would be doing the exact same thing to you or to their enemies. So do they have the right to complain about this kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, everyone's a hypocrite, right? It's like, and you could see it swinging back a little bit, like the other way, like culture, where everyone's not so like canceled, like right. It was in like 2012 to 15 to 16, like that whole time. So like it's a little better, but these fucking losers are gonna do the same shit that got done to them because they're like, oh well, now I feel more empowered to do it because people aren't gonna push back as hard. It's like, yeah, you pussy, like with that, yeah, because it's easier now. Like this is something that's bothering me too. Like there's a certain celebrities, whatever. Like okay, people were like, did you see that movie Old Dads? Have you seen the movie Old Dads on Netflix? And I was like, dude, I don't give a no. I don't really. I'm not gonna. It's like, go watch it. 10 minutes of no laughs into the movie, I go, okay, I see what this is. This is like the conservative being like, LA's fucking faggy, and this is like the pushback, and like, there's no men anymore. I go, this isn't brave to say now. This is brave 7 years ago. When at the peak of 7 years ago, it was like anything with like a positive male role model was like, boom, canceled, rape. It's like, like everything was like that. It's like, dude, now you're just, and again, Bill, oh wow, Bill Burr, you're so fucking brave, dude. It's like, it's like, it's I don't know. I'm like, it's annoying. It's like fake. It's because it's like allowed now again to push back on the crazy woke narrative. It's I don't know. It's like lame.
Minder says, is Free a post-liberty? No, he's not. But I was just bringing that up. And by the way, Pete actually said, he's like, look, he and Bird were talking about the kind of the apartheid stuff of Israel. And they're like, we don't object to that. We just think the wrong people are doing it. So I'm like, look, okay, I get it. At least you're consistent. I guess that's not a the post-libertarian take is still F Israel. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So there we have it. No, I'm completely with you on all that. So not a problem. Okay. We're cruising along here. Go to the next one. I don't know. And I don't want to play too much of this. But I had to play this, cause I had it ready to go. Did you see this reaction at all with, Robby Suave? You know who Robby Suave is?
Yeah, he's such a fucking cuck, but yeah.
Okay, good. We'll play a little bit of this, and then I'll go into some questions I have for you about it. And I really didn't even know what to talk
Every leftist, wait a minute, Robby. Every leftist in America was asked to apologize for some random protest.
They should apologize. They should apologize for their endorsement of terrorist attacks on innocent Israeli civilians, just as I am outraged by the retaliatory actions that are killing innocent Palestinian children everywhere. I care about both of these things and have said I care about both of these things over and over again. It is you and the idiotic leftist, terrorist sympathizing people who do not care about the dead Israelis.
Okay, this guy, I was getting it off this guy's side. So a few questions I want to ask you about this. Okay. I wrote them down here. Okay. Why is a grown man calling himself Robby with a Y?
Bro, agreed. That's a good point. First of all, I love Robby Bernstein too, but also, yeah, at least he spells it differently. But yeah, the Robby grown man name is weird. Right. But dude, first of all, if I don't even care if I'm that chick, as soon as he starts going, I'm laughing like I just did in his face. I'm like, shut up, you fucking nerd. Because
didn't it feel fake? It didn't seem real. I'm like, this doesn't seem natural.
It was
fake. So real that it was abnormal.
That's what I was gonna say. It felt fake. It felt a little exaggerated, but it was so not like masculine or tough. Like
because he's all.
If he's arguing with me, I would just be like, dude. I should find me somewhere. Find me the nearest toilets, like a swirly you fucking nerd. Like, shut up. Even if I agree with him, by the way, he's so annoying to agree with. Like, even if I did agree with him, I'd be like, dude, you look like a fucking bitch. Like, it's so hard to defend that. Like, acting like that.
I try as an attorney not to get into those kind of arguments, and sometimes I have. And I've literally laughed at opposing counsel. This female attorney was getting worked up like it was her own child she's defending. That's what always cracks me up. It's like, we got two people that can't agree and we're in court and you're acting like your client could do no wrong. And she started doing that kind of getting mad. And I'm literally laughing at her. And she had to walk away. But anyway, crazy. One more question here. Are you upset your name can't be given a childlike nickname like Atomy or Nutty or something like that?
I mean, Nutter's pretty wild. I think it's, by the way, I just had a grown man the other day.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That's applause to you for having a grown man.
Well, I had to catch him. He ran away. He fought by a police.
I thought you were talking about sexually.
It was. Yeah, he fought it. I got him. Okay. No, but I was checking out at PetSmart with my dog. And the guy's like, you have a number here? And I'm like, I think so. So I gave him like my number. And he goes, what?
What's the number?
Yeah, okay. And he goes, oh, Nutter. He goes, eek. I went. Here's the thing, though, dude. This is why coming from this guy was wild. He was wearing like a leather kilt, and he was like and he was like had like this giant horn around his neck, and he was like clearly a 24-year-old. Like, I live at home and I smell.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, bro. I dealt with that my whole life, and he's like, "Oh, it must be rough." I said, "Yeah, it must be a little working at PetSmart too, right? Give me my shit."
Oh no!
Like,
he didn't know he was working against you. Yeah,
it was nuts. Like, I wanted to be like, "Do we have to fight you right now? Like, what are you doing?" It was crazy.
I used to work at a big brokerage firm, and my brother-in-law got me the job there, and he worked in the margin department. He had to call people out when they had margin calls. So he's telling me once he's calling this, and he leaves a message. It's for this lady. And leaves a message, and their last name was Skank. He's like, some Skank, and then he thought he had hung up, but he hadn't, and he goes, Skank, nice name. Well, the husband calls into his employer, the boss, and he called the guy, and the guy's like, I don't really care. It's been my name, but my wife is a little sensitive, so you're gonna have to apologize to her.
You know what's so funny? It's like, I don't give a shit if someone was to be like, if I heard that on the other line, like, yeah, that dude's right. I mean, ridiculous.
I mean, yours is nutter. Mine's unpronounceable. Like I care, right? It's
Yeah. At least I have Adam's a normal one. At least it's not something like, like loquacious nutter or something fucking weird. You're like, dude, come on.
Did you
my parents would name me Brett Nutter.
That's what they were going to name you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, what was Adam said?
My ex-wife, if she would have been a boy, she said her parents would have named her Chauncey. And this is the whitest people you've ever met. Like Billups?
By the way, the only Chauncey I know is Billups, right?
Absolutely. I went to school with him. I mean, I was at University of Colorado when he was there. So congrats to me.
I feel like Chauncey's also the name of like a fat black kid from like the projects.
Oh, no doubt.
Like, that's just Chauncey.
Well, it's whatever you want to say, black kid. Black kid. It's skinny. It's not or ex-wife.
Universal.
White ex-wife. Yeah.
He's like the O negative of black kid.
Right. I'm O negative too, by the way. How about you? Do you know your blood type?
No. It's one of the AIDS, I think.
Did you say AIDS?
I think it's one of the AIDS. It's one of the AIDS. Okay. I have a low T cell count.
We're gonna play a little clip here. You just have to deal with this. This is I don't know. Tell me, maybe you don't want to. I did a little composite. It's a 4-minute clip here of Clint and Austin Peterson on their spaces, their debate.
Oof. Riveting.
Right. So,
riveting stuff.
4 minutes here. We can speed it up just a tad. But anyway, I thought it was
I'm boys with Clint. I just don't care about like. Because this is before we started this. This is what I tweeted out finally the other day. I was like, "Oh, what's my take on the Israel-Palestine thing?" I don't have one because I'm an American Catholic from fucking Staten Island, and I'm not gonna have a take on a 2,000-plus-year-old war that has this much to do with us. You know what I'm saying? It's like the seeing everyone. I don't mean like you guys, because you guys are all kind of mocking it, which is like what I was doing too. But I mean like everyone who's like sincerely taking takes on this. You're a fucking loser. Like you're not gonna fix anything. You're not adding anything to this. Like you're not gonna be like, oh, at fucking get your boy on Twitter fucking had a banger. So we're gonna end this shit, guys. Wrap it up. Pack the fucking Iron Dome up, dude. Like it's so stupid. It's like I only care about what goes on inside our own borders anyway. So,
did you care about Ukraine though, and Putin and all that? Okay.
You're consistent. Shit though. Like we made fun of it.
Right. No,
right?
I'm not like invested, but I will say when everybody in government starts going at it, and then they're literally it's with the threat of government. It's almost more enforcement of an arm than the BLM stuff, right? Yeah, we had riots and whatever, but I mean they weren't threatening to do all kinds of speech codes, defund all kinds of stuff for just speaking out. And for me, that's just ridiculous. I don't care which side you're necessarily on, but and by the way, I'll also say with this thing, I never took a chance to investigate what the actual situation was. And I finally did on this one. Then I got a little bit more involved. But with that in mind, you're right. You shouldn't care, but your money's going to go over there. So maybe if you do care.
Here's the thing, dude. That's also not going to change.
I know.
Like, you know,
I know.
Nothing I say is they're gonna be like, oh, bro, we're gonna pack up the whole lizard people deep state thing and stop the wars for you idiots.
You know what? Like, that's because you stopped your podcast. If you kept your podcast going, it might keep it going. Okay, so either way, I tried to edit this out simply for the humor parts. Okay. So out of a 3-hour thing, I got 4 minutes.
It's crazy.
Oh, sorry. Here, I got to add it to the screen.
We're watching Unsolved Mysteries. What are we doing?
Yeah. I had to have the ominous music behind it because that's the way it is.
If I fire in the fence and I accidentally hit my neighbor's house, I might be responsible for a charge of damaging property, right? But I'm not responsible for first-degree murder. You can't conflate these two concepts. That's why we have murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter. And until you can define and understand the differences between intent, then you cannot make good arguments for your side because you conflate. And that is the problem that modern libertarianism encounters and why people cannot take us seriously. And they don't trust us. The American people do not trust us.
Okay, that's
1879.
That's just a way to break it up between things. So what do you have to, what do you think about Austin's arguments about murder in war? Now he didn't, by the way, there is justification for murder, if you've declared war and whatnot. He hasn't ever said there's a justification for killing people. He simply is saying collateral damage and is more like manslaughter.
Good movie.
Therefore, it's okay. What do you think about that?
Oh, Collateral is a good movie. Collateral Damage sucked. No, that's insane because you don't have to shoot a building. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this.
Like that's a crazy example that he made. You absolutely no. If you're even if you're retaliating, you still know collateral is a thing. And if you know there's a fucking children's hospital or just kids or a school or whatever the fuck there is, I think it's maybe common sense to take a different approach. Maybe just don't fucking drone strike the entire area. Like, if you want that building, well, then fucking man up and take it by force, pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Israel wants to fucking want it so bad, put boots in the ground, pussies. Go for it.
Completely. So you get brought up on manslaughter charges. You get convicted of manslaughter. Do you think you're going to go to jail?
Yeah, of course.
Then what the fuck is he talking about? Manslaughter is still a crime that you get put in jail for. I don't care if it's murder one or not. He's trying to lessen the culpability. I get it. But he's not saying it's a self-defense. He's saying manslaughter. Manslaughter is still fucking murder. And by the way, it is a general intent crime. There's specific intent, general intent, and not da-da-da-da-da. So he's full of shit with this, and that's what I wanted to emphasize.
He's arguing like a chick who knows she lost an argument, but she's just like trying to grab onto anything to just like still have a point. It's like, no, but like, you know, like you don't understand. Like the rock hit him maybe. Like she's just like trying to walk back her murder. It's like, no, dude, but like you still kill the person. It doesn't matter.
By the way, I was DMing with Dave Smith the other day, and we were talking about, I'm like, this, he's gonna bring this up, and so he's like,
cool.
Asking,
what's that like?
Yeah, so he was asking me the legal stuff. So I'm saying, you know, breaking these things down, and then I go to him, I go, but when you're actually, what happens is for like first degree murder, there's special things like lying in wait, a scheme or plan, or with bombing, an explosive device. It's prima facie evidence of first degree murder, and he used that in his argument last night. So I was pretty proud of that. Okay, let's go to the next one.
We don't know. We can't know that. We can only know what we actually know.
This is 75 years ago.
Oops.
Not 100 and plus. I mean, there are people alive today that live this.
There were people alive in the late 1800s?
No, the knock was 1948.
Okay, you're talking about
his question, by the way, is wrong. He said, were there people alive in the 1800s? Yeah, of course there were.
Well, he means like,
I know. It was 1917. Do you know anything about this topic at all?
I'm sorry. So, what are you actually asking, Clint?
Okay, so that was kind of humorous because he was the whole time. And what was funny was I listened to this a few days after the fact, and I'd seen him on Twitter with some guy talking about how Clint didn't know history. Clint didn't know anything about the thing. And then I'm watching that and I'm like, wait a second, but you don't know much about it. Okay, we'll go to the next one. I know you're enthralled with this.
That me and my people are going to be surviving at the end of the day. And it's unfortunate that the ramen cart salesman had to show up that day to bring food to the soldiers. But at the end of the day, he's supplying aid and succor to my enemies. And
do you know what succor is?
Yeah, a lollipop or me anytime I gamble.
This is the problem that libertarians don't understand about modern war, is that modern war does not allow us to necessarily differentiate when we get into a struggle where you have, this isn't even a state actor, we're talking about a terror group that actually hides itself amongst civilians as their strategy. So
right,
we can't.
What do you say to the fact that
it works?
Almost done.
Yeah,
it's good strategy.
Right.
By the way, they've been
go on
doing
these
that for like ever. Like
Huh?
that's like a long like that's people like armies have been doing that for like the history of war. Like that's not like a new tactic. If that's what he's saying, if that's his point, he's wrong. Because I actually just I'm a history nerd. That was my major in college. That's like a long ass tactic that a lot of fucking especially older militaries used to do, like medieval times. They would just like blend in or like bring in like essentially like people they kidnapped as like fucking bait and dress them up all the fucking time. So it's not new. That's been going on for literally like 1,000 years. So it's bullshit.
And I get it that the rules of war are kind of stupid in a sense because it's war. You know, they say anyway. Let's get this shit over with.
fucking monologues, man. Let me actually engage with you from time to time. You've just talked forever and you don't even say anything. It's just fucking roundabout nonsense. Read a book. Read Sun Tzu, as if everyone hasn't read Sun Tzu. You fucking imbecile.
Racist. I'm Clint Russell, and I call my opponents a racist. I'm not a leftist, but you're a racist.
You are a racist, dude. You hate Arabs. You hate Muslims. It's embarrassing.
Muslim isn't a race. Muslim isn't a race. You know, this is like sub-IQ.
What about Arabs?
They're not.
You said Muslims.
No, but he actually said Arabs and I mean he said Muslims and Arabs. Clint did.
What about Arabs? What about Palestinians? Are they racist or not?
That is different. You said Muslims.
I said Arabs and Muslims. Oh, you got me, Austin. Hey, how about this?
I did.
You can't contend with any of this. You don't know any of the history of this region. It's embarrassing. You haven't engaged with anything I've said. Nothing. Do you even know that Bibi put Hamas in power? Like he said in 2019?
You want me to engage? Clint, you want me to engage? What do you want me to say? I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist, Clint. Please don't think I'm a racist. I'm not engaging with your retarded
You said I'm in alignment with white nationalists. Go fuck yourself. You actually use the same exact tactic.
Oh, he's a racist. Oh no.
Yeah, this is like the meme.
I just want the audience to be aware that he can't.
Like two retards fighting. Like that. This is that meme. Like,
I know.
I love Clint too, but that's like.
No. By the way,
why even argue with that? But also, like, this is the other thing too. I've noticed a lot with like our circle, and when I mean our circle, I mean like our even specific type of like. Yes, you and I in the room. I mean like our type of libertarian, like all of our friends, like. We will just immediately like start calling each other out, like I mean even though like Austin was always I think considered like one of the better quote unquote libertarians, right? Like
sure.
And then right again, it's not like Clint's arguing like a fucking Waldenberger or something like that. Where you're like, you fucking fat idiot, it's like who cares what you think? It's just so funny. We like that's like. We can't not do it.
I will in Clint's defense, though, and then this is what happened with Clint.
No, I'm kind of defending Clint in this roundabout way, but it's just because it's annoying because Clint's getting like frustrated.
But what happened is who struck first, and what you didn't hear is he mentioned it, which is early on.
Yeah,
Austin Peterson tries to talk about him supporting white supremacists. And then Clint's like, I mean, he, Austin's outright saying there's a superior culture. These other ones are animals. I mean, he was very racist, legitimately. And Clint's calling him out on that.
Either one.
And then at some point, it's the same thing that happened with the Jonathan Carey or Casey or whatever it was that he argued with. When you start out, when the person is calling you a pedophile or a racist, which that was what they did, you just don't fucking care anymore. I mean, you don't even give them good faith arguments.
No, like I said, I am defending Clinton in like a weird roundabout way, but it's just like we just can't.
I know. I wouldn't have probably got down that route, but whatever.
It's just because it's like we're like because he's gonna do it back, and now you're just completely lost it. Even if you're retaliating to, because by the way, I also would have retaliated to it. Especially I have zero.
You would have done better. Austin's
I would have been worse.
He's doing that girl voice. And that's,
engaged with anything.
Yeah, I would have called him a faggot. I would have been like, dude, you're a fucking faggot, bitch, fight me. I would have lost my shit. I can't.
Do you have a follow-up question?
Okay. Last one.
Like, best interest to not escalate things.
So I've only recently started to get into the understanding of what their actual battle plan is. And I read a column from Peggy Noonan from the Wall Street Journal where she suggests that it probably won't be in Israel's best interest to conduct a ground offensive. But I don't know if I agree with that for the simple fact that, I mean, if you have a ground offensive.
Okay. I played that last one because I thought it was interesting that he had military analysis from Peggy Noonan. That was his go-to that he had. So, he rips on Clinton there for talking about, who do you just listen to Scott Horton for your military stuff? It's like, you just referenced Peggy Noonan. Come on. That's
also like, I'm gonna listen to Scott Horton. Like he knows the fuck he's talking about.
Right.
Like it's so dumb.
Okay.
So dumb.
I'm sorry you're part of this, but this is what happens when it's called the Libertarian Podcast Review.
No. I like this. This is fun to shit on things.
Okay, that's what I hoped for. Okay, so now we're gonna play a few clips from last night. These were taken off. I mean, there's a minute 20, and it's like a minute. I think this is the first one, and you had referenced it earlier. So here we go.
The final part of this piece from Scott Horton's Libertarian Institute, Rothbard's words, where he said libertarians must stop.
What's the piece? I'm sorry.
Jose looks like Wolverine, but like a knockoff Wolverine. Jose looks like he's like trying to be like a shitty Logan for like Halloween.
He's baby Wolverine. This is like baby Groot, that comes out. Anyway.
So war guilt in the Middle East.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know the piece.
He says, in order to find out which side to any war is more guilty, we have to inform ourselves in depth about the history of that conflict. It takes time and thought. We must become relevant by taking sides through pinning a greater degree of guilt on one side or the other. So what I wish we could see is ultimately let's start at that moral point. We talk about the morality of war. Let's start by pinning a greater degree of guilt on one side or the other.
All right, time's up.
Become relevant, and then we can have a discussion and debate about what happens on a micro scale. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. I mean, did you read the whole piece, Austin, or just that line? Because the whole point that Murray Rothbard is making in that piece is that Israel is the aggressor in the war, and that in most wars there is one side who's more wrong than the other. And in this war, this was written in the summer of 1967 in a journal called Left and Right. And the point Murray Rothbard was making is that Israel were clearly the aggressors in the conflict against the Palestinians. So I completely agree with what Rothbard was saying there. I think it's a great piece, by the way. I'd highly suggest everybody read it.
Okay, so what I
found... It would be funny if Dave was like, including you. It would be funny if you added that.
What I thought was hilarious about that's like me going into court, trying to cite a case, and opposing counsel's like, not only did you miss it means exactly the opposite. And then I say that I found it off of like some website, and he's like using the actual case name and numbers and all that stuff. That's what happened there. Dave, that's why I think he started laughing, because he realized, oh, I know that. I mean, he knew the year that it was printed or written and in what magazine. And I just thought that was hilarious. As a real blunder, by the way.
It's very like a very moment, like, like Austin, like, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like one of those was like, got me. I can't fucking say much.
Okay. Last one we'll play here of these guys. And this is kind of the one I was referring to that I want to take a little credit. And by the way, I'll tell you what Dave said afterwards. He DM'd and he's like, look, I knew he was going to go this, and I kept saying the word murder because I wanted him to make this mistake. And by the way, in the chat, when Austin went down this route and then Dave counters him, Austin starts calling him, he literally is saying, you're lying. And he's not, because Dave's right. But anyway, let's go.
Legal definitions of murder, there are differences between your example when you said he catches his wife cheating in bed, he kills his wife. That is murder.
It's justified.
But we don't judge that murder in the same way.
And wouldn't you say, if you catch your wife cheating in bed?
Crime of passion.
Right. No, I mean, it's just a self-defense.
Do a self-preservation, premeditated murder. So what am I trying to say here? Well, what I'm trying to say is that there's a difference between the planned and premeditated murder of civilians, which Hamas engages in as part of their legitimate war strategy, and what might be considered in a worst case scenario in any court of law as what might be involuntary manslaughter, which is the result of an accidental killing rather than direct intentional.
And by the way, that blows my mind once again, because an accidental killing, you might not even be criminally liable for, right? So he's once again, he's talking about something that you would still be involuntary manslaughter. You would still be put in jail for that, because you did something completely out of the realm of, it's not just negligence, right? I mean, if I'm driving on the road and my wheel comes off my car and I cross traffic and I end up killing someone, I may have killed them, but it's unless
an accident.
Exactly, unless the tire was so bald and I knew it was bald and I didn't adjust it and those kind of things. Now you're just like, you're putting yourself at risk and others due to your negligence, and then there you go, involuntary manslaughter.
Dude, someone
is still killed because you fucked up. That's the point.
Somebody, a guy I know back in Staten Island, okay, who's weirdly married to the sister of somebody famous that I'll tell you after, off air. Okay. But back before that, he was driving on this Father Cavardano Boulevard in Staten Island. It's like right by the Verrazano Bridge, and it's kind of like this long stretch of road where there's not like a stretch of like not a lot of lights. And it's like a 35, 40 mile per hour speed limit, whatever. Yeah. He's going like 40, 45, not speeding. Girl just runs out middle of the road. He fucking hits her, kills her, boom. Unfortunate accident, but like he wasn't drunk, wasn't hot, he wasn't doing anything wrong. And it's just like, sorry. Like, yeah, people think like if you kill somebody, automatically you go to jail. It's like, no, like it's case by case. It's very case by case. Right. Yes. People
exactly.
Always, yeah.
And as far as law school, we kind of have some of these scenarios. There's kind of two of them. It's kind of the same idea. A drive-by shooting, or someone goes by this house. They thought no one was home. Okay. So they shoot into this house just to shits and giggles. Someone was in the house and they got killed. Now there are excuses. We didn't think someone was there. But the problem is it's a house. It's not a vacant lot.
Shooting a gun into just the abyss could be dangerous. Like,
exactly,
know that.
Exactly. Yeah. And then another scenario is there's two trains. One train's a cargo train. You shoot at it. A hobo happens to be in there. Well, okay, you didn't. Maybe that's different. That's obviously different than shooting at an Amtrak. I mean, you've got just distinct differences. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going with these nutballs here.
The homeless guy deserved it. Figure out your life, idiot.
I said hobo.
Killing, which is why I don't see a moral equivocation. We shouldn't morally equivocate between these two sides. So I wonder do you agree that there?
By the way, felony murder. He's talking about that. If someone dies in the commission of a felony, it's automatic murder one. So you go into a drugstore and you're holding someone up. That's a felony. The guy happens to die. Maybe he had a heart attack. Maybe he died of COVID with COVID. No, he dies in the commission of the felony. And then the question is, how long does that happen afterwards? You're committing this felony. Now you're escaping. You're driving down the road and you get away and you run into someone and kill them. Is that still part of this felony? Probably.
Right.
So anyway, felony murder is pretty brutal. Yeah. Anyway.
There's a difference between forms of killing, meaning there's murder one, murder to voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter. You do see that there is a difference between intent. Intent matters, does it not?
Yeah, sure. So, Austin, I mean, listen, you're just objectively wrong in this breakdown. So just hear me out on this, dude, because this is just there's not even a debate here. You're just objectively wrong. So let me just, so there's three different things. And yes, obviously there's differences in this, but let's just say there's like a justified killing, right? Someone comes at you with a knife and you shoot them. It's not a crime. You killed somebody, but it's not a crime. There's manslaughter. Typically, there's two different types of manslaughter. There's sometimes, depending on the jurisdiction, it's manslaughter 1, manslaughter 2, or voluntary, involuntary manslaughter. So like voluntary manslaughter would be like you beat the shit out of a guy. He ends up dying. You didn't necessarily mean to kill him, but you beating him up ended up killing him. Involuntary manslaughter would be like you're drag racing and you hit a guy. You weren't trying to hurt anybody at all, but your reckless actions led towards somebody dying. Then there's murder, first degree, second degree, third degree, right? Okay. Let's just say, let's say there's somebody who I have a justified killing claim at, they're coming at me with a knife or whatever, and they're in a building, and I know that there's a ton of children in that building, so I blow the building up. That is murder in the first degree. Israel has murdered all of these people in this war over the last few weeks. In any court of law, that's what you would be charged as. Premeditated, cold-blooded murder in the first degree. Your example does not hold. And in fact, if you really want to get legal with this, when you're blowing them up with bombs, the fact that you made a bomb would be prima facie evidence of premeditation. Murder in the first degree. This is just objectively the truth. It is not. It is not. Hold on one second. It is not. No. I'm just legally right. Any lawyer listening to this, I'm legally right. If you drop a bomb, hold on, Austin, you're muted. So let me just finish my point, and then you can talk. If you drop a bomb on a building, and guess what? Legally speaking, it doesn't matter if you go, but I warned you to leave first. That is murder in the first degree if you know that innocent civilians are going to die there. One more second. When Obama drops a drone on a wedding, when Obama has a drone bombing campaign where 98% of the people who die are innocent civilians, and he knows that, and he continues to do that, Obama murdered those people. When Israel drops bombs on buildings that they know have civilians, even if they gave a very polite, I warned you before they did it, which they don't always
30
do.
seconds.
They murdered all those people. And likewise, I will say, what Hamas did when they invaded Israel and pulled off that terrorist attack, they also murdered all those people. It's murder in the first degree across the board. And that's a fact.
That's the wild thing, too, about this entire art. No one's being like, yo, no, what Hamas did was pretty chill. Like, no one's like saying that. It's, I mean, some people are saying that, but you know, I mean, like, out of like Americans and like reasonable people, no one's like, bro, fucking paragliders, bro, rock on. Like, no one was. It's weird that everybody's like, oh, so because you don't agree that Israel is fucking blowing up children, and I'm like, hey man, probably shouldn't do that. You're like, you're fucking anti-Semitic. It's like, okay, then I'm anti-Semitic. It's like, that's crazy.
What was crazy? It was, and by the way, I'm going to take a little. I'm not going to Scott Horton, Dave, where I'm like, why didn't you give me credit? That's not what I. But it was funny that I was.
You could do that. You should go on a Twitter.
No.
Rampage.
This is the most. This is the most I've done. I didn't even drop my DMs in the chat, which I could screenshot for you. But it was funny because there was a conversation, and I'm just like, I'm just kind of walk some points through, and then I'm hearing him just like boom recite them out, and it made me get tingly inside. My wife's like, oh please, you're so pathetic. But it was amazing because I mean, you look here. I'm just looking at the California Penal Code as an example. For California statute defining first-degree murder, all murder which is perpetrated by means of a destructive device or explosive by any other kind of willful, deliberate, or premeditated killing is a murder in the first degree. So Dave's exactly right. And all Austin had to do was say, not go down this route and just say, hey, they declared war. The ideas of murder are different in war, and I'm not even going to go down that route. But no, he insists on using some weird a thing in his head where manslaughter is a justification, and it's an unlawful killing of a human being. It's just with less liability or culpability. It's weird. I don't know.
People also, this is the New York thing for sure. I think it's universal that people think homicide means like murder when it just means like someone died not of natural causes.
Yeah.
Like that's all that means. So like people, but that's a big bummer in like all these like high profile cases when like the autopsy finally came out, it's a homicide. Everyone's like, we knew it. It's like, that just means the guy just didn't die from old age. Like something externally happened to him to die. That's all that means. It doesn't mean like he was murdered or something like that. People are dumb or misinformed. I don't know.
And maybe I'll do a show here where I'll kind of break down all the different types of murder and what they actually have. I had an argument with this Stacy that one time she's, someone that we know about that kind of ruined Doc's Clint. And she was talking about murder, and I was talking about the negligence analysis that you have with this. And she came at me and she's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I defend criminals and I do all that. And I'm like, that's literally the analysis you do for manslaughter. So I don't know what you're talking about.
By the way, I defend criminals. Cool.
I'm like, I don't know. I just passed the bar in California. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so that's the excitement I have.
So a heart attack is considered a homicide? No, I think a heart attack is like a natural cause.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like it has to be like an external thing. Like a drug overdose is like a homicide. Technically, it's like a homicide. I'm pretty sure.
Honestly, I don't know, because the way that the definitions for and how we do it is basic. I mean, you call it all different kind of things. Homicide is killing of some sort, right? Or a death. I don't know really the way you're pronouncing it here, or you're defining it. Could be. I just know that murder is
right. It's not murder. That's what I'm saying. Murder is a very specific. No, I'm saying homicide. I think it's like defined. Like it's like a loose definition. It's like not. Again, I think it's like just death out of like natural circumstance. I think.
I have it right here. Homicide is a legal term for any killing of a human being by another human being. Homicide itself is not necessarily a crime. For instance, a justifiable killing, suspect by police, or killing in self-defense. I don't know. This is there's different statutes.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's different. I know it's. I don't think that's right. Whatever. I don't know. Again, I think
you're wrong. Street justice, you and your street justice.
No, it's not street justice. This is like a real thing back in the NYPD. Whatever, it's not important. I don't remember. It was a while ago, so I could be wrong, but I'm trying to remember it.
It's okay. We're good here. Okay, I think that's it. We're gonna do an hour. We're out here. So unless there's something else you want to talk about or clip or something you wanted to do, let's go over real quick. Hockey, murder or not?
It's something.
Okay.
It's something.
Field hockey, murder or not?
Murder that bitch's teeth.
Okay. Justin Trudeau, the headless.
Gay. All of it's gay.
Okay,
All
gay.
things gay.
Dave Smith in his truth. I think his truth bombs were prima facie evidence of a debate murder.
Right.
So
yeah, he was just right. That was just like so right. Austin was dumb.
Wait, we got here. JC wants to know, what do you think about Derek Chauvin's appeal? Does he have a chance? Not on one knee.
Just because, dude, purely because of what that represents. 0% chance, like 0% chance that guy ever gets out of jail. Like, and like that guy's fucked forever.
So I mean, what you have to, and by the way, appeals doesn't mean like, take the case again and retry it, not unless they reverse it. So he's got to have technical reasons why it went through. Maybe there was some issues with the autopsy or whatnot, but likely, yeah, you don't just necessarily get off on murder once you've been convicted, unless there's something.
If I was that third cop, I'd just be like, "Can I please get out of here?" I wouldn't even do it. I was just watching.
Yeah. Did you ever kneel on anybody besides maybe on a date? I'm talking about like a suspect.
All the time, bro. No, honestly, not really. You really don't have to do that shit. This is gonna sound very pretentious or whatever, or this narcissistic. But I know how to fight and I know how to hold, and I don't have to do a lot of that shit that everybody else had to do. It's just the way it is. Sorry. Like I know things that the average person doesn't
Shouldn't
know.
that be the way that they teach everyone then?
Listen, you're preaching to the choir. I've said day one when I did that fucking stupid job, I was like, the academy should be an hour jiu-jitsu a day, every single day. No gi and gi jiu-jitsu, in uniform, out of uniform, whatever. Just don't choke then. Just don't. You don't have to do chokes. You could do every single type of fucking grab in the world. I could break your arm, knee, foot, shit. I'm not going to choke you to death. You don't have to do that. My point is, they should do that. They won't do it because they don't really care about that. And now they kind of teach you almost to go to the gun right away. There's like zero like in between. Like, hey, stop! It's a gun. It's fucking pathetic. Like it's, and then like, oh, I agree. I'd say every chick should fucking learn jiu-jitsu.
Not my
at the
wife.
gym today. At the gym today, I was doing jiu-jitsu with my buddy, and like I was hoping like other women would be like interested and be like, oh, I should do that because like I think every woman should do jiu-jitsu just to not get raped at least.
I haven't done wrestling or jiu-jitsu or any kind of, but I'll tell you what I did for years, which was I was a lifeguard. Okay. And one thing you learn when you're a lifeguard over and over and over is how to get out of holds. So when you're rescuing someone, they don't drown you. And you can always get back into carrying them over the shoulder. I was able to just, because I was doing this from a young age, messing around with your buddies, I was getting out of holds all the time because I just had all these tricks so maybe even just they need to go to be WSI, water safety instructor, and learn some moves.
I watched
put down the donuts. I don't know.
I watched these two English cops repeatedly tase this guy like on a bridge, and then like they were so afraid to just approach. And the guy didn't have a weapon; he had nothing on him. He was just yelling. He was just a crazy dude, or on drugs, whatever. And the guy just eventually jumps off the bridge. And I'm like, it's because everyone's afraid, and they kind of again, it's kind of manufactured that way now, right? Like they don't want you to ever fucking touch anybody, almost like. So it's like now, especially nowadays, it's like all very hands off, like, oh, we don't even want to do anything. So like, but if you just be like, this is how you throw a punch, this is how you fight people, and this is how you hold, this is how you toss, this is how you grab. You don't have to fucking resort to not knowing how to fight, because when you don't know how to fight and you don't have the confidence of how to fight, you get scared, and then when you're scared, you do shit to stay alive. Instead of being calm and being like, no, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I know how to stay under pressure. I know how to stay in the pocket. And everybody fucking snaps to the gun because they go, well, I'm not going to die today. And now you have a whole fucking case in your hands instead of just me being like, hold on, bam. Oh, now you're knocked out. And now I'm just going to cuff you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because would you rather get punched in the face than 100%. Wouldn't you rather get punched in the face and shot?
Probably.
It's so much better. But it's just yeah. They don't give a shit. They don't want to fucking actually teach anybody anything. So it's not about that. You know that. It's about fucking whatever agenda's on the board now. So
there we go, people. Adam Nutter used to brutalize people in the streets. Now it's in the sheets and on the stage. I don't know. Adam Nutter, thanks again for coming on. Thanks everybody for joining us on Friday night. Tell everybody where they're going to find you this next week.
November 10th, Philly, Myers Brewing Company, 2 shows, 7:30, 9 o'clock. Come on out. November 11th, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I think it's an 8 o'clock show. I'm doing the Florida and Georgia LP conventions in January. I think I might be doing some other conventions too. I think I'm going to California early next year, so I'm coming up by you, Tyler. So we'll be in touch.
Yeah, even if it's in Southern Cal, I'll try to connect with you then. So.
Yeah, I'll talk later. But yeah, I'm still figuring that out. But yeah, so just at Adam Nutter on Twitter and Instagram, and Cult of Us, subscribe, and 5 till midnight, subscribe, YouTube, and everywhere and stuff.
Yeah, everybody go check out all Adam's stuff. He's a good guy, friend of the show, obviously, good guy. So just check out his stuff. By the way, go look right now. Just go to my playlist. Start watching the Leo Frank stuff. I think it's pretty good. A little anti-Jewy at times, but it's really necessary. So take a look at that. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. See ya.
Okay, I'm leaving now. Bye, guys.
But she's back.
And now.
Chick-fil-A is completely overrated. It's not that good. I prefer Zaxby's. I prefer Popeyes.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Should I vote for Dick Cheney on the Libertarian Party? Do I have an obligation to vote for Dick Cheney?
I would say so.
Yes.
Did it work for those people?
No, it never does. I mean, these people somehow delude themselves into thinking it might, but it might work for us.
That one dude was like, not a podcast. I can't find it anywhere. They don't have video.
Oh, yeah, Peter Janke. Yeah.
Yeah, I blocked him.
I'll do it. If he unblocks me, I'll...
He'll buy your shirt if you unblock him, Bert.
He's a wigger.
Yeah, nothing cooler than a 49-year-old wigger.
Yeah,
I just started live streaming. Cut me some slack. I'm pretty high tech for a boomer. But anyways,
boomer.